Conservatives put forward in the fall our Conservative Youth Jobs Plan. And that included proposals to fix training, which focused on accessible training for students pursuing in-demand job. We recognize that there are some skill gaps in the economy. There are some areas where people with specific skills are needed. Excuse me. And there's not a sufficient number of people who have that training. Unfortunately, in response to these proposals, Liberals presented a budget that actually went in the opposite direction by proposing discrimination against students studying job-relevant programs at career colleges. These provisions were not in the BIA, but they were in the budget, and the Deputy Minister has reaffirmed that these remain government policy. And we've heard today specifically about the impacts that this would have on traditional Chinese medicine. And it seems strange to me that the government would take the position that any student studying any program at a university gets the full grant, regardless of the connection to employment or not, and that any student studying at a career college, regardless of the connection to employment or not, would not be eligible for that grant. It seems like a strange way to make this distinction when we have many in-demand skills, students preparing for very in-demand jobs at career colleges that would be cut off as a result of this policy. And traditional Chinese medicine is one example among many. Now, I did some events specifically on this issue with now Liberal MP Michael Ma, and I was hoping he would join us today, and he chose not to. But Michael Ma was very vocal previously on the issue of how these budget provisions would attack traditional Chinese medicine and the concerns he had reflecting his community. He actually called this systemic discrimination. He said that the budget provisions, as they related to traditional Chinese medicine and the impact on the Chinese community, amounted to systemic discrimination. So I'd like to ask the witnesses we have, particularly from the TCM community, if they would agree with Liberal MP Michael Ma's previous comments that the change proposed in the budget would qualify as systemic discrimination.
Well, we do feel that we are discriminated. In this case, actually, Michael was right. It was systematic, okay? Yeah, and in that way, because at the beginning, when we just started our program, we were just told that, no, your students were not eligible for student financial assistance. You know what? It took us over 20 years to communicate with the government and to really work very, very hard with our students, our associations, and so on to request even the eligibility for anyone studying TCM and acupuncture in private institutions to get student assistance. So it took us over 20 years already. So this is one thing. Another thing is that we do not have any government funding. I mean, zero. And we all have to work by ourselves day and night. Sometimes people may say we are for profit, but we are really not for profit just because we do this because of our formal belief in this ancient medicine, and we believe this medicine could help everybody, including everyone in Canada here, significantly for their health promotion and for their disease prevention and treatments. Thirdly, is that we were not, our graduates, okay, from private institutions were not allowed to get a working permit for international students, right? So that cut out a lot of other things, even for the past couple years, that we are not even allowed to have any international students. So in this way, we do agree.
Just to jump in, because I've got 1 minute left, and I appreciate the point you're making about how there's a link between this discrimination in this grant and access. I think you've made the point that there is effectively, because the vast majority of people are trained through these types of institutions that are where the grants would no longer be eligible, that it would have a significant impact on access. Mr. Kirk, if you can just, in the time we have left, comment on Mr. Ma's comments that this policy constitutes systemic discrimination. Was Mr. Ma right to say that this is systemic discrimination?
Yeah, we have faced an uphill battle in this profession and often face misunderstanding from regulators or other healthcare professions or policymakers. And part of that is why the majority of our educational system is private colleges. We do see the need to be flexible and adapt to the situation. So I agree with that statement, and we hope to continue to advocate for the profession and allow our students to access the same resources as those that decide to go to public colleges.